Welcome back to LeflerMotors, where on today's episode, we're working on this. This is about 75% of my 2003 BMW 325i. And I know what you guys are already thinking. This is kind of a modern car compared to what I normally work on the channel. But if you guys want to see me work on like an 80s BMW, I quite literally have to get this one out of its way. So a lot of the longtime fans of the channel are kind of already familiar with this car. I've done a video on it in the past, like way back in the day, where it was, just a very awkward video of me ripping the interior out of this car. And the reason I had to do that is because this car got parked at a buddy of mine's house temporarily because the expansion tank had blown. And while I was going to wait for parts to get ordered, I just kind of put this on the back burner because, I have a ton of project cars, so I don't really rush to fix one when one breaks right away. And in that time, the back window got shattered and the car got broken into. There wasn't really anything for them to steal out of the car, but they left the doors open, and, well, what was a very pristine interior turned into a moldy cesspit because it was the middle of summer in Alabama and we are not known for having low humidity. Now, while this is more of a modern car for the channel, I do think it's kind of alright. I mean, it's still 23 years old, and quite frankly, I love the E46. I think it was the last good BMW. I think it was the last good 3 Series that BMW ever released. I wasn't a fan of the E90 or anything that came after. It's just that sweet spot of like, it has a decent amount of tech, but, it's still just a car. It doesn't have a tablet built in. It's not EV. It doesn't have AI telling me I'm driving too fast or whatever kind of nonsense that new cars have. It is an automatic, but it's got the... I believe it's called the Steptronic transmission on the BMWs, or what the 16-year-old kids call a manual automatic, because you put it in sport mode and you can change gears manually. Whatever the kids say. I was a lot younger and a lot dumber with cars when I got this, so, it's kind of clapped, if you will. Spray painted the wheels black, put in hood pins. I did some decorating to it. But I did really like this car. I did take good care of this car until I started just accumulating more projects than I could handle at the time. Got tags for miscellaneous vehicles just sitting over here. I installed myself a quick release bumper because I kept pulling it off because it was a race car. Under the hood, you've got your standard inline 6. It's the M54 B25, I believe, is the engine. I painted all this, and, I installed a hot air intake and this bar right here, Megan Racing bar. I found in a wrecked E46 in the junkyard. I've got a catch can set up because when I first got this car, I paid $400 for it. And the only thing wrong with it was the CCV system, which is a German over-engineered PCV, basically. It was causing it to just dump oil into the combustion, and it was basically burning a quart of oil in like 5 minutes. So what I did was I just cut it off right here at the valve cover and just let it like blow out, I basically had the crankcase venting to atmosphere, but it stunk. So I eventually just went and ran tubes into a catch can setup. Real simple. If you ever find one of these in the wild and it's just blowing smoke out the exhaust and you don't know what's causing it, check your CCV, because that's 9 times out of 10, that's what it'll be. You can get these pretty cheap if you just know what the simple problems are. I've got these aftermarket headlights that have the little halos in them. They're wired up pretty terribly. Again, the hot air intake, the AutoZone special over here was all me, and then that wrecked E46. I found this little bracket and the Mishimoto tube, and I made it kind of look somewhat decent under here. I've got a good collection of matted leaves. They're nice and flammable now. The guy I originally got the car from chopped the exhaust off right at the headers. So over here against the wall, I have a whole exhaust that I just grabbed out of the junkyard that I'll need to put on this because it is obnoxiously loud. Like, you think like a four-cylinder Honda is disgusting with the way it sounds. Open headers on a 325i is probably the worst thing you will ever hear. Now, if you come to the back of the car, more of my teen nonsense, you'll see that this identifies as a Supra. So you can tell kind of the mindset I had when I was driving this more regularly. I kind of want to get rid of all of that, and I probably want to repaint the car. The real reason I got an E46 in the first place is because one of my favorite video games growing up as a kid was Need for Speed Most Wanted. And the M3 E46 was one of the coolest looking cars I ever saw. And I kind of want to get a wide body kit for this and replicate it. I mean, this is a sedan. It's not a coupe. It's obviously not an M3. But, this is what I got. This is what I got to work with. And, I don't mind. There's too many elitists out there with cars being like, oh, you're not going to... I don't care. This is my car. But my main goal is I've got to get rid of the mold so I can actually start driving this again. And, like I said, it was a $30 part, and I parked it temporarily to focus on other things. And now, I mean, you can just see the mold. I mean, there was not a blemish on the interior of this car. And now it's just rotten. So I'm going to get this back to the house and fix that. But in order to do that, I have the option of either A, pay $150 to have it towed home, or drive it 3 miles to my house. And so the smart thing to do would be to get in here and replace that expansion tank. And so what I'm going to do is I bought some JB Weld, and I'm going to JB Weld over the crack in the expansion tank because I only need this to last 3 miles, and JB Weld is like $5. All right. The smart thing to do would probably be to just get rid of the hot air intake and revert it to factory. That, I think, would be the wise decision to do. But I don't know if this has ever been the wise decision channel. All right, and again, I kind of like how it looks. And this is also a poverty spec E46 that no one cares about. Again, I paid $400 for this car. So I may as well have fun. That's the first rule of automotive modification, is just have fun and do whatever you want. If you want to keep your car pristine, that's fine. If you want to keep your car pristine and in great condition, be my guest. I, however, don't care what anyone thinks about my car. That power steering line might be in the way, and that is disgusting. Power steering leak. I'll fix that one of those days. Oh yeah, I remember that. It had a power steering leak that I never bothered to fix. I'm starting to remember. It's been about 3 years since I drove this car kind of regularly, so it's all coming back to me. But the power steering's not what we're here for today. Well, now in traditional BMW fashion, I've had to take more things off than I wanted to just to get access to anything. I don't know if the camera will be able to pick it up. Should, but that crack right there, that's what I got to get at right there. And again, I'm right here. I could just pull the expansion tank out, replace it, or I could just, butch it just to just to get it out of here. Which is what I'm going to do, because I'm rushed for time. So, yeehaw. You know, why do one thing right once when you could do it the wrong way 15 times? That's what I always like to say. If it ain't fixed, don't break it. Now prepare to be amazed as I thoroughly prep my surface. That's an old cheap man's trick. If you run out of brake clean, bend the can. You'll get more brake clean. All right, I'm out of brake clean. That was way more anticlimactic. And I'm just gonna scuff it all up with a Scotch-Brite. Preparation is the most important step, and your level of prep work shows your level of how much you care. Me, because I care so much about how long this lasts. Like I said, I don't think I mentioned, this only has to go like 3 miles, no stops. It needs to hold coolant just long enough to bleed it and fill the block with coolant. And if it blows a minute into the drive, it should still be fine. If I haven't mentioned it before, welcome to LeflerMotors. This is what we do here. We don't fix a car, we make it good enough to drive maybe. Alright? And if that's what you're interested in, consider subscribing to the channel. Or leave the video a like. Maybe even become a channel member for $1 a month. You could help contribute to more of this. If you don't like the video, why are you still here? Get some more of that good stuff. This right here, you guys have seen me JB weld quite a few things. The fuel tank on the Grand Marquis is still holding up well with its like 5 layers of JB weld, so I gotta go pick up another truck in a couple of weeks that also has a leaking fuel system, and you won't believe what it's gonna get as well. That's right, more JB weld, because that's what we do. Give this a stir. There's no more like unique smell than the smell of mixing up this good old OG JB weld. It is a certain stink that, like, it just kind of smells like a dead fish, and I don't know what the science behind that is, but it sticks. It sticks to stuff, and it fixes everything. I'm not sponsored by JB Weld, but JB Weld, if you want to sponsor me, I'll keep doing stuff that you say not to do with your product. All right. I think I've sold out enough so far, so what I'm going to do is I've got gloves on for a reason, not because I'm a sissy, but so I can just get a hands-on approach and hopefully not JB weld the power steering line to the expansion tank, or I'll have to buy those too, but they're leaking anyways, so does it really matter? And I've already got JB weld on the power steering lines, so let's go. We're just gonna give it a good schmear. Respect the schmear. Yeah, oh yeah, it's just all over the power steering lines. That's good. That's good. Let me give it the two-hand tango over here. Online, you can order a full cooling system overhaul kit for this thing. Wow, that's gonna be... That was terrible of me to do, but... Alright, so now that hose is permanently gonna be JB welded to this. We're just gonna get a nice... You know what, just glue everything at this point. Everything's getting cut off with a Sawzall now. Have I mentioned this was a $400 car? Please don't cry. There's a lot of BMW elitists that get really upset pertaining to these cars, and I really don't get it. Because especially a 325i is practically worthless. It's, you know, don't cry over spilled milk. Definitely don't cry over an E46. You know, I must say that really is some of my finest work. Honestly, I'm just a master craftsman. A automotive master This is the kind of stuff they don't teach you in none of them fancy trade schools, all right? Trade schools are a scam, college is a scam, high school, middle school, it's all a scam. You learn everything you need to learn by the second grade, and after that, you don't need it anymore. If you can put JB Weld on an expansion tank, you can do anything you set your mind to. Now, speaking of set my mind to, I took this car apart 6 months ago. There's the back seat. There's another part of the back seat. The exhaust is over there. I think that's the driver's seat. Yes, that's the driver's seat. Yeah, this is more parts of it. See, I had everything neat and then I moved, so everything's just kind of all over the place now. And so I'm going to gather all the parts I can find of this car. I'm going to let this JB Weld cure throughout the week, and then when I get off work Friday, I'll come back over here and grab all the parts, and then, I don't know, let's just try and drive it as is. I mean, I might put something back together. I don't know. Again, I need to emphasize that we're not restoring this car today. We're driving it. Probably not the worst idea in the world. Alright, well those have given out. That's good. Yep. Probably not the worst idea in the world to go ahead and grab the battery out of here and see if it'll hold any kind of charge. There's more. There's the trim, the ashtray. Okay. Yeah, gotta keep your coolant. If you got an E46, you keep your coolant in there. So yeah, I'll grab the battery and see if maybe it'll hold a charge. I think it was bad 3 years ago, but that's kind of how we roll with batteries. Another day, another dollar. You know, this thing's actually pretty light with no interior in it. All right. Let's see if she wants to hold any fluid in her. Looks like there's some slime in there, but that may have been my doing. Actually, oh, no. That's the float. The float on this looks like a bunch of milkshake. Well, that's with zero pressure on it, but it's not just pouring out of a crack that I missed, so we're gonna say, fill her up. Oh, she's so thirsty. Just want to double check my handiwork over here. Also, make sure there's no cracks that I missed or something. I got the hoses all back on pretty nicely. All right. Is that bleed screw hand tight? Of course not. Why would I do that? Doesn't even make sense to have done that. I'm glad I bought more distilled water. And for the elitists that think that I just haphazardly throw together every vehicle, I am using distilled water. I care a little. Yep, there's some big bubbles coming out of that. It's all right, little fella. You just take your time. All right, for the next stage of the bleeding procedure, I need the car to have power so I can cut the heat on. You don't have to actually cut the car on. You just cut the heat on, and it's got a little pump that circulates it. But if you are familiar with this channel, you'll know my luck with batteries, and you can go ahead and know that this thing did not hold a charge at all. I may not be able to get these big old clamps in here. Maybe. And I've already got the key in the run position with the car in neutral, so hopefully if I nicked something and the airbag is going to pop, they'll go ahead and do it now before I stick my head in there. All right. We'll just leave that like that for now. Look at it with some lights. All those lights. And if you can't tell, look at all the moisture in the dash. Airbags didn't go off though, so that's good. All my interior lights seem to be working, and I forgot I removed the climate control, so I can't actually set it to heat, but I don't know if you guys can hear it. But the pump is on, so hopefully that'll flow some coolant around. I'll just let it sit like this for a minute. I should probably check the oil. Let's see. Oh, she's good and full. That's fine. The smart thing to do would be to pull the spark plugs and put a little bit of oil in every cylinder, because it's been sitting, I think the last time I cranked this up was about a year ago, year and a half, 2 years ago, maybe? Something. I'm not going to do that, though. I may spray a little PB blaster in the intake, just to spritz. But I'm going to let this go for a few minutes, and then, I don't know, crank it up, see what happens. Let's see. Please don't do nothing crazy. I don't like that there's an airbag at every direction, and I don't know how they're going to react, so... Alright. That went way better than I expected. The alternator's working. It's got a little bit of a belt squeal, but as to be expected, I spilled coolant everywhere. But I don't know. It started right up. I was very surprised. That gas is like, I want to say that gas is about 3 years old now. It actually doesn't sound as terrible as I remember it, but it does have a bit of a tick that I wish it would get out of there. But you know, I also, like I said, I didn't spray anything in the cylinders, so just gotta lube her back up a little. Just let her run over here, get warm. I got the fan just sitting like this for now. The lighting control module has been removed because it's actually a common issue. If those get damaged by moisture, that can start fires. If you ever go to a junkyard, especially on the sunroof E46s, and you see that it burnt up on the inside, it's almost always right there in that corner by the driver's side. And the reason for that is the lighting control module that controls the headlights, it will short out if it gets wet. So when this got moisture damage and mold, I just went ahead and pulled it out. I'll get another one at some point. Unfortunately, they have to be programmed to match your mileage and all, or they start throwing a fit. That ticking is getting loud. Every check engine light is on. We're at you can't see it, but we're at 196,000 miles on this thing. I really miss this car. I'm glad to hear it running, even though it sounds awful. Another thing I didn't mention is over here, it normally has a secondary air pump that sounds like an airplane first thing, and it's supposed to, it's almost like a smog pump on older cars, but I just deleted it and threw a block-off plate over here so it doesn't sound like a jet engine starting up every time you turn the car on. Alright, so I let it run, get up to temp, and I'm just going to wait for it to cool back down so I have my best shot once I have the cap on and it's under pressure. I need to go ahead and put this seat in. I was getting ready to do that. Smart of me, I put the bolts back in here. But what I didn't notice before is in here, and I don't remember if it was like that or if just the water soaked in this sound deadening in here. The floor is busted up over here on the driver's side. I mean, it's just split. You can pull this sound deadening up, and I mean, let me shine a light. You can see right through the floor over here. So I'm gonna have to fix that, but it's not that big of a deal. You know, just, you know, cut out the rust and weld a plate back in it. I'm not going for factory, you know, floor pans or anything like that. I'll just cut the rod out and throw something in it. I mean, again, $400 car. I like the car. I'll never restore this car. I'll do something cool with it. And, you know, maybe put like $3,000 total into this car over its life. It's not nothing special. Maybe in 20 years it will be, but there's better ones out there for that. But I got the seat over here still. I'm not gonna hook the seatbelt back up. I'm going 2 minutes down the road. It'll be fine. I gotta pass one of them flock cameras though, so the government's gonna see me with no seatbelt. It's probably safe to assume you guys know that this is gonna be a terrible idea. But I think I'm just gonna put the front bolts in. I think that'll be okay. Get in there. Leg bones connected to the seat bones. There we go. It's almost like there's a possibility that my floor may be slightly warped for some reason. No idea why that would be. Yeah, I have, oh, well, there's the bolt for the seatbelt. I could put it back in, but there it goes. Yep, just tuck it in. Nice and neat down there. Let me not break the trim even more. Come on. The things I do after work, let me tell you. All right, since I'm only running one bolt, I went ahead and grabbed my torque wrench so I can torque it to spec. That's fine, right? I need to adjust this seat though. Oh, I can get to those. My genius is overwhelming. I just had to do that. Oh yeah, that's solid just with two. Realistically, the less you can do, the less bolts you can use than the manufacturer, just the better you are at engineering. Yeah, that barely moves at all. It's starting to look like a car already again, guys. The seat is, well, I'm not excited to sit in that, but nothing I can do about it now. Why is there an airbag in the center console? Oh yeah, the trunk. All right. I'm gonna leave this here, outside, open to the elements, while I drive my other car home, wait for the sun to come up a little bit in about an hour, and then I'll get dropped off here and drive it home. I give it plenty of time to cool off, but it's not leaking or anything. It's fine. It'd be a real shame if someone stole this while I was gone. Would be a tragedy if someone stole this car while I'm gone. I would sure hate for this to disappear. I do at least need to grab my GoPro off the front. Well, it's still here. That means I gotta drive it. Oh, 1.1 volt now, that's good. Get the behind the scenes action happening. Hopefully it's cooled down a little bit. It's still pretty warm. I would also like you guys to know that it smells terrible in here. I'm doing you guys a solid. All right, time to hit the road. guys can't really see me, but I'll tell you what, something smells like it's burning. Coming up to a stop sign here, you guys can kind of see me. It was probably still a little too dark to go with no headlights. Temps are still okay. The only sketchy part of this drive is coming up now. I gotta cross the highway up here, but should be all right. I cleaned off a little bit of my window so I can kind of see. It's about 5:30 in the morning on a Saturday, so I'm just hoping there's not a lot of traffic and I can just kind of cross. And there's more traffic than I had hoped. I don't want to sit here and idle for too long. I'm just going to go across. Alright, we made it. Temps are still fine. I know you guys can't see it. That moisture behind the odometer is still pretty rough. Oh, but we're almost home. Alright, well, we made it, barely. I see smoke coming out from under the hood, so I would assume that my expansion tank isn't holding up. I smell water. I don't see it leak anywhere. Well, there's some moisture on the cap. I don't know. I don't think my JB weld failed. I think I just had too much fluid in there and it was just blowing out of the cap. Either that or it's cracked around the cap, but hey, either way, I just saved myself a $150 tow bill. I thought I had a brake dragging. It was making some noise up here, probably that brake. I'm not sure, but either way, I survived. And that's phase one of today's episode, is the car is here. Now I can get to work on it and do a lot more work than I planned on. But I'm gonna take a little nap because I just got off work. And then when the sun's up a little bit more, we'll get back to this. Well, it's way later in the day than I originally planned on, but I ended up having to mow the yard. Hey, pro tip, don't buy a push mower when you have two acres, but you know, at least I get cardio in. But I'm gonna go ahead and clean off all of this because, you know, this right here is just, I mean, that's a fire hazard. They've all just congealed into one leaf, so I actually just need to do this real quick. All right, that'll be easier. Still so just mad about this rear glass. Like, of all the things that have happened in this car, holes in the floor from rust, all the mold, that's nothing. The fact that I got to replace the rear glass, like, come on. But, you know, I guess Makes the badge correct, I suppose. I was given this pressure washer right here for free a couple days ago. This is my first time using it, so we'll see if it works or not. They said they didn't know, so, you know, we'll just fire it right up. It'll save me from having to find a new car wash, because the car wash I always go to, the one I just took the Firebird to, they're shutting down. So, no more car wash. So we'll have to do it myself. All right, fuel open, choke on, engine on. It's got a little gas in there. Let's see. Oh, that died pretty quick. Oh. What? All right. Well, she ain't happy. One more time. Guys interested in a will it run on a pressure washer? All right, all jokes aside, this is not supposed to be a pressure washer will it run. So I believe it's called the unloader valve, the valve down here at the bottom that's supposed to relieve the pressure when you let go of the handle on the gun, is not working. So you basically have to hold the trigger down the whole time or it stalls the engine. Also, both of the bolts on this side were removed and I didn't have any spares, so I just took, they had both of them on this side, so I just took the one out of that corner, put it in the opposite spot over here, so it's sturdy now. And this gun is cracked and is leaking, but I had this little guy right here, so it works, kind of. All right, I'm all out of car wash soap, but I do have a toddler, which means I have a gazillion bubbles. I don't know if that's accurate. That's kind of a big number, but he won't mind. Yeah, like I said, if you just keep a hold on the trigger, you know, you'll get it pretty clean. You know, the car's actually kind of white again. It's not bad. So, yeah. Thanks, Kevin, if you're watching this. Appreciate the free pressure washer. I'll be fixing everything else that's wrong with it over time, but for now, I mean, it works. Does a good job, and free. So, what next? What next? All right, for those of you who have been waiting on an update on the Firebird, well, I just moved it over here. Had to pull the wheels back off of it because I needed to move my S10. And I think some of y'all probably noticed it in the video, but that front passenger tire was completely locked. Those brakes were locked up, so I ended up just pulling the front caliper off. Got it over here. The engine, I filled all the cylinders and everything back up with ATF and acetone. I'm going out of town for about 2 weeks, and when I get back, I've got some more tricks. I'm gonna try and break that engine over. But yeah, there's your update on the Firebird if you were interested. Let me get a show of hands. If you've been on the channel long enough to remember when I got this thing, leave a like on the video. A rare occurrence on this channel for sure, a new battery. Just because I had to turn one in for a warranty, and this one doesn't fit in here, but we'll make it fit. Yeah. All right, anybody up for a 3 months parked cold start? My weather seal fell out. Yeah. Oh, there are spiders in here. I've missed this goofy truck. This video is slowly just starting to go off the rails. I'm just kind of all over the place. I wanted to give you guys a brief update of the shop at the house. No, I do not have electricity out here yet. I'm just running some extension cords, and I got a bunch of these Walmart lights, and I'm just running them across the ceiling. I got 2 right here on the one side, and that brightens it up pretty good. So I got 3 to put in the middle and 2 more for the other side. And I should be able to just record in here as much as I want. So when it does come time to actually putting in the power and the insulation, there'll be a full video on that for you guys, because I know a bunch of you guys had asked about it. But I didn't want you to see me in here with lights and think that I just, forgot about you guys. No, I got tired of looking at this behind the house and never being in here. So, I pay for this. I might as well use it. I'll just throw some lights. I got some 100-foot extension cords running through a hole in the wall over here, up to the outside outlet on the back porch. And this is working great. A lot of people hate on the fact that I just kind of take free stuff whenever I find it, just free miscellaneous items. But you know what they don't have? A rolling staircase. What kind of nerd wants a ladder? All the convenience in the world. This is like that one Logan Paul video in Japan. And with the power of extra large zip ties and Christmas tree extension cords and sheer electrical negligence, we got us another row of lights. Just, I'll tuck all these wires up and make them look neat. But there's the first 4, and then I got 3 more, but I'll put them on their own extension cord as opposed to continuing the trail of fire. But yeah, if you ever see one of these rolling staircases on the road, grab yourself one. This video has gone way off the rails. I think I was working on my BMW. This thing sounds terrible. Well, as I'm sure you can probably see, I spent way too much time last night organizing this mess. But look at all the room for activities. I haven't done anything about that side. Over here, everything from the door over is still as it was. And then I cleaned up over here. There's a bunch of wood that I ended up saving. That'll probably all be the walls of this place once I get to wiring and insulation. And then, you know, there's a bunch of junk wood out here. I'll either burn it or I'll make a post on Facebook Marketplace, like free if you come take all of it. Some chicken wire, some barbed wire, just miscellaneous metal and stuff that I'll be keeping. But, I don't know. Room for activities. Alright, I hope you guys don't mind. I kind of waited a few hours for the sun to go down and it to get a little cooler in here because no air conditioning. This building is awful. And it kind of echoes in here, so hopefully the audio is not too terrible. But it's time to get started on ripping this interior out. And I'm going to be wearing gloves and a respirator while I just grab all this stuff out of here. I've given it a couple of mold treatments over the past few months, so all that mold should be dead. But I really don't want to keep stirring it around. The few times I've driven it, I've started to get a bit of a sore throat, and I got to go out of state in 3 days, and I'm not trying to make that super miserable while I'm out there. So leave your comments about, you know, you look at the nerd and the respirator. Yeah, you'll have that on the big jobs. It's still like 1,000,000 degrees in here. But 90% of the interior is removed except for the front carpet and everything that would require me pulling the dash out. Because I'm just be honest with you, I don't want to pull the dash out. It's not that bad. Well, here's the interior in all of its glory, just strewn about. Like I said, I got a good majority of it. Everything except that front carpet. It doesn't look like there's any damage on the passenger side, just those that crack right there. I guess a bunch of moisture got stored up under the factory sound deadener. And then that's pretty cool, the BMW logo in the sound deadener. The trunk was the cleanest part of the car. Even the, well, we'll just pull that. Sure. Pull the whole carpet out of there. Now it's dirtier, but look at that. I forgot I even painted the spare tire, you know. If you're gonna do something, go all the way with it. Now I need to vacuum all this out, but that's gonna have to be another time. I do need to clean as much as I possibly can, but I'm gonna start with all the stuff that's out of the car first. All right, there's about 50 million different ways to clean this off the seat. So, you know, whatever you want to do is whatever you want to do. But what I'm going to do is what's easy and cheap. And like I said, this mold is already dead. It's just kind of stained on there. So, you know, just do whatever feels right. If you're worried about tearing up the leather, maybe you should just buy replacement seats. And I'm going to be sitting in a chair because this has been a long weekend for me. And I'm tired. You can get these drill brushes like anywhere. Harbor Freight, Walmart. I think I got these at Walmart. It was like $5 for a 4-pack. They're nice. I mean, look at all that, it just breaks it. I know you guys probably can't hear me when I talk with the mask on, but I'm not used to wearing a mask in a video, so I forget. But yeah, I mean, look at how it just cleans that up. So nice. I mean, that was just a real quick pass. If I hit it 2 or 3 times, that'd be about perfect. All right, just the front of that. I'm gonna give you a side-by-side. It's not perfect. One pass just on the front, but compare it to what it was like. That is a major improvement. All right, here's what I want to tackle next, and I'm gonna be completely honest and truthful with you guys. I don't know if this is gonna be savable. This is the rear carpet And I'll be honest, I should put a lot more effort into the front carpet because it would be a lot more work to remove. This right here, I could very easily go get a replacement of. But I'm kind of curious to see how savable it is. So this right here, over here, this is the worst side. Now I'm gonna start, I think I'll try and clean this back corner right there and see if it's worth the time and effort. And if it is, I'll try and save this. Now, I'm heavily considered getting some of that vinyl dye and doing a black interior because I always kind of wanted to do that anyways. And this is about the best time to do that. But for now, I kind of want to see what I can do as far as this carpet. Don't get your hopes up real high on this. I want to give this the best chance I can, so I'm going to saturate it pretty tough. Let it soak in for a minute. And then let's just let her eat. I'm going to be honest with you, that's not really a super noticeable difference. And you really are supposed to just vacuum that stuff off. But because I'm running the whole shop off of an extension cord right now, I can't really bring the vacuum down here. And it's 1 o'clock at night. I'm not trying to bring that all the way. I'm not trying to make all that noise up in the front yard. So I figured I'd try it out on the carpet, but I don't know. I need to jump around a little bit. This whole video has kind of just been a lot of jumping around. The ADHD is going a little crazy right now. But I can't wear that mask anymore. It's still so hot. But I guess I'll clean the glass. You know, if you got to take a break from something, find something else to do. Always be doing something, or nothing will ever get done, at least in my experience. This right here is my favorite glass cleaner. It's just Sprayway glass cleaner. I don't know. Glass cleaner is glass cleaner, but this kind of seems to work the best in my opinion. Not sponsored or anything. Who am I kidding? The only person that ever sponsors these videos is me, and it's probably always going to be that way. So if you're interested, head on over to LeflerMerch.com and get a sticker or a hat or something like that, and then you'll technically be a sponsor of the channel. Is this channel anything you want to be associated with? Maybe. But hey, look, I got a squeegee for like $3. Now I feel like I'm at a truck stop in Indiana. Gonna go ahead and get pump 3 diesel. I'll clean my window for 45 years. This thing's already falling apart. That sucks. There's a chip in my windshield. I made a video one time where I like compared different types of like windshield chip fix stuff. Back early in the channel, I didn't really know what I was doing as far as YouTube stuff goes, and I just kind of like, well, if it vaguely relates to cars, I should make a video on it. So I did a lot of like DIY tutorial stuff and like just random car nonsense, and it was stupid. It's not the vibe I'm going to, and that kind of attracts the wrong crowd. People think I'm going to give them educational advice or have some semblance of being competent in any regard, and that's not it's not what we do here. We just do stuff. This is the side of the car I didn't pressure wash. How good does this work as a car soap? Is it better than Gazillion Bubbles? Yeah, actually, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Hang on, I may have discovered something now. Washing the car with spray away. I'll never get sponsors because anytime I use a product, like I mentioned with the JB Weld earlier, I just kind of do whatever I want with it. Glass cleaner. I've heard paint referred to as glass, so we'll just do, bam! Look at that, glass. Bam! Can I do a cheeky little, no, sure can't because, well, the glass cleaner's good, but this is not. Let's see, can I do one of these? Subscribe. This is what dreams are made of. I think the mold is talking to me. I think the mold has gotten into my brain a little. I think the mold is communicating with me telepathically and telling me that the world that I know just ain't the world as it seems. Sometimes I think the mold has a mind of its own and it wants me to join like a hive mind community of bees and make its moldy honey to spread across the infinite cosmos. I don't know if you guys ever saw these around where you lived growing up. Focus. I don't know what you guys called them. I don't know the scientific name, but we used to call these click beetles because they like do it. You're not dead. They play dead. One thing they do. I don't know if the audio picks up the clicking. Oh, well, I dropped you. You ain't getting away that easy, bud. Tell something to the folks back home, please. Come here. I have to put you outside anyways. I sprayed bug spray in here earlier. You don't want to be in here. All right, do your click. Everyone at home's waiting on you. Come on, do the thing. You're making me a liar in front of tens of viewers. All 6 people who watch this video are going to be upset with me because they think I'm lying. Oh, you did it! I don't even know if I picked that up on camera. Can you do it again? One more time, put it one time. Hey! Alright, I gotta get you out of here. It's poisonous in here and moldy. Once again, this video is going in a direction I have no idea. If you're still watching, you're a fan. Leave a like. Leave a comment that says mold poisoning in the brain or something like that. I don't know. But you're a real one if you're still watching, because I don't know what's going on anymore. Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. I'm hopping in here to do something about this rust. And by something, I mean very little at all. Move out of my way before you become part of it. You got a bad wire brush. I told you to move out of the way! I told you. Yeah, I just kind of popped the seal up over here. I don't know. Get the back seat too. Back here it actually looks worse. I don't know. Wearing the mask kind of. I should probably hit this a little bit too, so we'll just get out of here, Junebug.
I'll just give this a little one time for the one time. Absolutely, let's go. I got more of this rust reformer. I still don't know if you can hear me with the mask. I'll find out in editing. But we're going to spray the rust reformer on the rust. And that's going to fix it until I can weld it. And then after that, you know, after that it's going to be smooth sailing. And now she's ready for Facebook Marketplace. So that's good. And now I'm not going to get rusty.
And I think at this point, now you guys kind of understand, where I'm going with this, okay? We're fixing the car. That's about it. We're going to fix it, all right? So I'm going to take the drill and I'm going to clean the mold off the seats. I'm going to take some interior detailer spray. I'm going to spray off the dash. I'm going to hit the rust with some spray paint. I'm going to replace that carpet. But I'm probably going to have like a heat stroke if I stay in here. And I've got to get up in like 4 hours and I got to work. And then in 3 days, I'm going to North Carolina. And then I got to pick up a truck for the next video that you guys will see. Spend some time up there for the 4th. Although this video I think is going to come out after the 4th. I can't remember right now. But so the next time you see this car, we're going to probably have brand new carpet. We're going to replace the seats. I'm going to order a coolant system overhaul. I'm going to do that right. I'll do the cooling system. Probably work on some other things. Probably need to go ahead and replace that fuel pump because it seems really weak and it did sit for 3 years full of ethanol. So it's a gamble. I've got the whole interior pulled out. I might as well replace the fuel pump. But yeah, so next time you guys see this car, we'll have it better. But thank you guys for watching. If you stuck around this long, you're a real one. And stay tuned for the next car that I drag home, or a car that I already have at home that I drag here, or maybe I just work on it in the yard. I don't know, maybe I do something with the Firebird or the Blazer. Those, you guys like those cars. Subscribe. Good night.